Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of 333 News. This is the third episode this week, in fact, which is, a new record, I think, because, we've been tracking a lot of storms recently. But anyways, I'm your news anchor, Wario, and today's episode, I think the lights just flickered. We're going to be going over your full and detailed forecast of Winter Storm Gerri, which is the sequel to Winter Storm Finn, essentially, as impacts are expected to be about the same, because, it's got pretty much the same composure, it's impacting the same areas with the same things as Finn did, just with a bit less intensity than Finn. So, yeah. Now, a few notes before we get started on that forecast. Number one, we did make a video journal for Finn. We are in the process of editing it. We have to put some timestamps and stuff, and we gotta edit that together, but you can look forward to that in the coming week, next week. So, yeah. You can look forward to the video journal of Winter Storm Finn, and it's going to cover basically what Finn did to our area specifically, including the flooding impact. Another note, we have decided to officially cancel the Christmas special because it's just taking up too much space and it's going to take way too long to put together, especially with all the other things that we are making around the Christmas special. And that's going to take up way too much time, and we want to spend that time doing other videos like this. So we have decided to cancel the Christmas special. And one more thing, we have some major updates coming this Sunday, so please stay tuned. And you'll be able to see what exactly we have for major updates, in addition to what we announced last week. Or last Sunday, anyways. And I've already mentioned the thing about Gerri having a similar composure to Finn, but that's also on the teleprompter there. But anyways, we're now going to go ahead and move on to our forecast, and let's take it to the meteorology studio with Donkey Kong. Over to you, Donkey Kong. Hey, finally, my time to shine. Welcome to the meteorology studio. I'm Donkey Kong, your meteorologist, and today we're going to be doing some meteorology in the meteorology studio because we're tracking another Finn. It's Gerri. Who cares? It looks exactly like Finn. So its name is Gerri, but I think it's Finn's brother because, is same kind of storm, essentially. So, yeah. Let's get started with your current conditions, and right now it is 46 degrees, partly cloudy skies. Not looking too bad, and that temperature is expected to continue going up throughout the night because we're getting a lot of warm air out of the south with this major winter storm that looks almost exactly like Finn. Alright, with that out of the way, let's go to the map and radar screen. Alright, let's get started with your 24-hour future radar, and a zoomed out look shows it's very similar to Finn. That tail is not quite as intense, it's not, quite as, extended south and all that, but it still has some heavy rain and stuff, and it's still going to be bringing winds up, but however, you'll see it's not as sharp of a tail. It's kind of got, more broadening there. It's a little bit wider and not as long and narrow like Finn's tail was. But there is also a lot of snow going on in the Midwest, and it is still going to be bringing all that heavy rain and wind up here into the Northeast. So, similar composure, just not the exact same thing, and the intensity is a little bit lower. So, yeah. Alright. That was your 24-hour future radar. Hopefully you got a good look at that. Let's look at the wind gust forecast, and as you can see from that, we have also less intense winds than we had with Finn for most areas. Note I say most because there are some areas that either have the same forecasted wind gust intensities or worse. Like, that one area in Vermont. So, yeah. That really bright orange you'll see there is going to be anywhere under 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts, and that covers a very small area. There's not a lot of people that are going to be getting under 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts. And most of what you see there, that not as light orange. I mean, the 30-plus mile-an-hour wind gust is almost yellow, but that bright orange there that isn't exactly yellow, it's going to be 40-plus miles an hour. That is going to be most of the regions this time around, not getting up to 50-mile-an-hour plus wind gusts. The 50-mile-an-hour plus wind gusts are going to be mainly contained to the coastal areas of New England and even going down the East Coast, as you can see. And that's going to be your dark orange. As for anything stronger than 50 miles an hour, well, I think there's also 50 miles an hour stretching up into northern New York by Lake Ontario as well. And, yeah. With most areas only having 40-plus mile-an-hour wind gusts, not really making it to 50s, definitely not as strong as Finn was. But of course, there are a lot of 50 plus mile an hour areas too. And perhaps the most surprising one is going north, well, actually going east off of Lake Ontario into Vermont. So yeah, we're going to be watching that as well. And there are some small areas of 60 plus miles an hour, but that would only include coastal Massachusetts and the western Vermont, where all those mountains are. So yeah, you're going to have to watch for that, because that's going to be cause for blizzard conditions in Vermont. And when we get to the power outage map, you're going to see what that's going to cause. So yeah. And I'm not sure you can see that, but there is a tiny area of 70 plus mile an hour wind gusts forecasted just for the Cape, like the edge of the Cape. So, yeah, the winds are going to be generally weaker from this storm, as you can see, because the large, the high wind gust forecasts are not enclosing as big of an area as Finn did. So, yeah, and most areas are going to be seeing weaker winds than they did on Wednesday. So, yeah, let's get to your power outage forecast here. And there we go. What you'll see is this has also been kind of slacked back from when we had the forecast for Finn. We still have everyone having a chance of power outages here because, well, of course, the storm is going to be impacting everybody, but you'll see we kind of slacked back the scattered power outage chance, and instead of having pretty much everybody on the coast, it's kind of been reduced on that coastal area, only for coastal New England this time, and not extending further down the coast. And you'll see it doesn't go as far inland this time either. However, there is also another area of scattered power outage possibility that is around Lake Ontario as well, because, of course, the winds are also going to be in the 50s there, so just be mindful of that. And, of course, the front-end snow is going to be a contributing factor as well, so that's why that's there as well. And, of course, Vermont, we have talked about that because Vermont could be seeing blizzard conditions. Vermont, we got also in pretty much everywhere throughout Vermont is going to be scattered power outages, but there's also an orange circle in Vermont, which is numerous. So, yeah, you're really going to be watching out for power outages there in Vermont because, of course, the snow is going to be a major contributing factor along with those 60 plus mile an hour wind gusts that we forecasted in that same region, the western mountainous Vermont. So, yeah, just be careful there and be prepared. Everywhere else, you might be a little more off the hook this time around. All right, that's going to do it for your map and radar screen, and let's get to the threat levels. All right, so here are your threat levels. We're going to start off with wind as a level 3. As I mentioned, the winds are going to be a bit weaker than they were last time. The storm isn't quite as intense, so we're only looking at a level 3 threat for winds because, of course, the wind speeds generally in most areas are not going to be quite as strong as they were last time. For heavy rain, we're also looking at a level 3 threat because, once again, due to the lower intensity, the rain is not going to be quite as heavy and there's not going to be as much of it. We're forecasting pretty much, at least an inch less in pretty much all of the areas that we forecasted multiple inches of rain last time. So heavy rain's not going to be as big of a deal this time around either. For power outages, that is still at a level 3 because of those areas that I mentioned that could be seeing numerous power outages and still scattered power outages. So that's still on the table. Don't rule that out. And yeah, that's kind of all I have to say about the power outage. So that I don't know what else to say. I mean, what if your power is still out from last time? Unlikely, but could happen. I don't know. I'm just doing meteorology here. All right, for flooding, and this is talking about aerial flooding from the rain, that's a level 3. Once again, the rain is not going to be quite as heavy, and there's not going to be quite as much of it, and snow melt is not going to be a big issue this time around either, even though some areas are going to get front-end snow. So flooding has also been reduced to a level 3. Last time it was a level 5 because of all the snow that was on the ground in advance, but this time that factor is not going to be coming into play. And for coastal flooding, that is a level 3, which is actually a pretty big upgrade from last time, because last time we only had a level 1 since winds were coming straight out of the south. However, if you're in New England this time, winds are going to be coming a little more from the east, so that's going to be contributing to coastal flooding. And coastal flooding warnings have indeed been issued for coastal New England regions. So, yeah, watch out for coastal flooding. We don't want a repeat of 2018. I mean, you guys remember how that was. There were multiple storms where we had major coastal flooding events happening in New England. And, of course, the snow threat. We can't forget that. Snow is going to be a level 2. And that's not for most regions, because most regions, well, in southern New England anyways, most regions aren't going to see snow at all. But in northern New England, in northern New York, and other places that see front-end snow, the snow can get pretty heavy before it switches over to rain. So snow is a level 2 threat, especially because of the blizzard conditions that we're forecasting in Vermont. So, yeah, be mindful of the snow if you're going to be getting front-end snow. And that's why it's a level 2 instead of a level 1 this time. Alright, with your threat levels out of the way, hopefully everybody's prepared. Let's go on to your 7-day forecast. However, I gotta make sure it pops up on the teleprompter here, so I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. There's your 7-day forecast. So tomorrow, Saturday, we're going to be looking at 58 degrees with showers and wind. Because of the storm that's moving in, it's mainly going to be taking place in the morning hours, so be wary of that. And it's going to get really warm because that air is going to be coming out of the south, so yeah, you know the deal. Then on Sunday, we're going to be looking at 41 degrees, mostly sunny skies. Not looking that bad. On Monday, we're going to be looking at 33 degrees with mostly sunny skies, so a pretty big cool down going on there, especially after the storm departs, because, well, cold air is going to be flooding back in once it moves out. Alright, now if I turn around here, here's where things start to get interesting. On Tuesday, we're going to be looking at a chance of some snow, 34 degrees, and if we go over here to Wednesday, the same thing is going to happen with a high of only 29 degrees this time. We're starting to get pretty cold here. And of course, the chance of snow still lingers around. There could be some, flurries and stuff. And we're also tracking an actual snowstorm that's going to be coming through on Tuesday or Wednesday, and we'll make sure to give you a forecast for that, because, of course, all winter storms matter here. And then on Thursday, we're going to be looking at 32 degrees, mostly cloudy skies, so, yeah, you get some relief from the snow. It's not going to be falling anymore by Thursday, but it's still going to be very cold. So, yeah, bundle up if you're going outside and stuff, you know the deal. And next Friday, 33 degrees, mostly cloudy skies, and, yeah. Other than the snow that's happening in the middle of the week next week, and of course the storm that we're looking at for tomorrow, it's the usual. Just some clouds here and there and cold temperatures because it's winter. So that's going to do it for your 7-day forecast, and that is your full and detailed forecast of Winter Storm Gerri. I hope you're all prepared, and it may not be as intense as Finn, but still, take this seriously because, well, some people could still be recovering from the previous storm, and this one's just going to add on to those who are still recovering from the impacts of the previous storm. However, in most cases, it's not going to be quite as bad. Anyways, that's all we got here in the meteorology studio. Back to you, Wario. Alright, thank you, Donkey Kong. So, that's your full and detailed forecast for Winter Storm Gerri, which is the 2.0 of Winter Storm Finn, essentially. And I think this is also a new record for the longest episode of 333 News, because Donkey Kong went very in-depth for this forecast. But without further ado, that's going to do it for today's episode. Once again, I'm your news anchor, Wario, and I hope to see you in the next episode. Wario, out.